Now, we are delighted to bring you a very unique and special fireside chat on graphene nanotubes. Graphene nanotubes, an industrially available form of graphene, are already delivering extraordinary properties, once also promised by graphene itself. Graphene nanotubes can be visualized as graphene sheets rolled into tiny tubes. These tubes are incredibly long at a nanoscale and are also highly flexible. Imagine a strand of hair that's 50,000 times thinner. Thanks to their unique shape and atomic thin structure, they possess properties like exceptional strength and also unparalleled electrical conductivity. When added to materials at just 0.01% by weight, graphene nanotubes create an internal network that imparts these remarkable qualities to the final product. This makes them a game changer across industries like energy, mobility, construction, electronics, and aerospace. OCSiAl, established in Luxembourg in 2010, and now with offices and representatives in more than 20 countries, is a global leader in the mass production of graphene nanotubes. And I have the pleasure of inviting Konstantin Notman, the CEO of OCSiAl, to the stage for a fireside chat on the material powering tomorrow's breakthroughs. Let's give a warm welcome. Thank you. It's great to meet you. First of all, thank you for joining us here at Nexus Luxembourg. We are delighted to have you share this special fireside chat with us on tomorrow's technologies and how graphene nanotubes are going to play a crucial role in them. So my first question is, we're kind of in this era which is where attention is drawn to digital breakthroughs like AI and blockchain, but your work kind of focuses on a physical material, graphene nanotubes. So why is such a revolution important, and what makes current existing materials insufficient?
Let's start from the question. What is the weight of your car? 1 ton, 1.5, 2 tons? What is the weight of your house? Because I already know the answer. The average weight of the house is from 150 tons. We are changing tires every 2 or 3 seasons. We are driving our very heavy cars alone. What it means? It means that generally all our technosphere is too heavy. And finally, if we're talking about physical properties, in terms of the energy efficiency, is not good enough. And this is the reason why, if we really would like to decrease carbon footprint, if we really would like to have the products what are efficient around us, we need to work with the physical properties of the materials, with mechanical strengths, with energy density, and finally with energy efficiency of all materials around us. It's necessary for us. And this is the reason why, in the age of artificial intelligence, we need to combine this with the real material revolutions to change technosphere around us.
Thank you so much. And yes, I completely agree. And we have to understand that behind technology, behind digital, there is always something physical. Thank you so much for that answer. And so, for those who are a bit more unfamiliar with material sciences, could you explain what role graphene nanotubes actually play and how something so small can play such a big role across industries like energy, mobility, and electronics?
Okay, I'll try to use some simple examples because our product is already in 10% of the all current models of smartphones in the world. We are inside the battery blocks of more than 1 million of e-vehicles in the world. And if I'm talking about these quite understandable products, I'm talking about the speed of the charge and discharge. I'm talking about the range of your electric vehicle. I'm talking about the time what you can use your smartphone for social media, for example, or for YouTube watching. And this is quite understandable examples, but for sure there are much more technical examples. Like today, we are spending up to 30% of all energy of our vehicles, of our cars, just to only one physical parameters, to the rolling resistance in the tire. In fact, this is the heating up of our tires. Just imagine 1/3 of all energy. And if we are playing with this physical parameter, it means fantastic, unbelievable energy saving for the whole mankind. This is how it works for our daily purposes, but also new type of textiles, sensors, medical devices. Generally, we are working with so lot of practical applications, and we are living with the idea that our product, generally graphene nanotubes, they can change more than 50% of all materials around us.
Yes, thank you so much for explaining that to our audience. And the example with resistance in a car is something which I think is very real to all of us and something which we can touch and feel. For those of you who don't know, actually in 1 year there's so many, from the resistance of the tires of the car to the road, there are so many PM fine particles which come out, which are actually very polluting to our air and to our atmosphere. So thank you, this will also be a great solution to that. But now I'm going to kind of shift gears a little bit. Maybe some of you may be thinking, okay, this is great, but a lot of companies are focused on reducing their carbon footprint, yet OCSiAl produces and distributes, albeit a special kind, of carbon on a global scale. So how do you respond to this kind of apparent contradiction?
At first, maybe about the carbon. Generally, carbon is absolutely fantastic. It's a magic material because diamond is also the carbon. And as you know well, that diamond is able to make much happier a lot of people around the world, and we are talking about very small stones. It's the same story like with our material. With a very low amount of additive, you can dramatically change the materials. And what is more important here, and here I would like to stress your attention, we can increase life cycle of the material. What means life cycle of the material? It means that you need less new materials. It means that the material itself doesn't matter what we're talking about. We're talking about the battery cell, or we're talking about a tire, or some kind of special epoxy composite. Doesn't matter. It means that mankind needs less new materials. If it's so, you need less energy to produce new materials. You need less efforts to recycle these materials. Altogether, dot by dot, this is again about energy efficiency of the material life cycle. And energy efficiency, I already repeated several times this phrase, but this is the core of our business. This is our core of our fundamental values, what we have inside the company.
Yes, thank you so much for that. And actually, chemical engineering and material science is one of my passions and deep interests, and it's amazing and phenomenal what you can see with all of these different materials and how you can change it. So thank you for actually clarifying this important aspect to our audience. So now let's kind of shift gears a little bit and talk about Luxembourg. So what made OCSiAl choose Luxembourg as a strategic hub, and how do you see the country's role in the evolving global advanced materials industry over the next decade?
Okay, maybe unofficial part of the answer. I like Luxembourg, I live here. This is the first point. From business point of view, briefly, I think that the main word is it's convenient. It's convenient and safe. This is dramatically important for any business, especially if we're talking about our modern age, all this hell, what happens around. And it's important to have a haven where a very stable political environmental, very stable economical environmental, and you have a real access to the most important critical resources for us. I'm from high-tech business. It's pure. And the main resource, what we need, is a human capital. And Luxembourg has absolutely strategic location. It's an excellent place to attract new people. Today we have people from our team members from 24 different countries. It's impressive. And Luxembourg is one of the competitive advantage, why we could attract them. And I'm quite sure that Luxembourg in the future, not only in the future, but today, can use this competitive advantage and to collect this human capital inside. And finally, the quality of people, the quality of this human environmental is dramatically important for any kind of business. Doesn't matter what they're doing. They're doing some financial services or crypto or they're changing material worlds like we. And this is the main advantage of Luxembourg.
Amazing, that's great. And I love how you said that we love Luxembourg, you love Luxembourg, so can we all give a huge round for that answer? Because at Nexus Luxembourg 2025, we love Luxembourg. Amazing, incredible. Can I give you a high five? Thank you so much for that. Okay, so actually, kind of continuing on this topic here in Nexus, we love to talk about the present, talk about what's happening right now, but we also love to look ahead, to look 5, 10 years ahead into the future and talk about what is next. So I would love to ask you, Mr. Notman, what is next for Luxembourg in graphene nanotubes?
We already the big part of Luxembourg's story because everyone knows Luxembourg in our professional world like #1 place in this sector of economy. And as I told you before, we are working with all industrial leaders in e-vehicles, in the smartphones, in digital, in tires, in a lot of other industries. But we decided to develop Luxembourg not only like a headquarter, like our R&D center, what we have already here, but we decided to make Luxembourg our base for industrial production. Today we have several plants in Serbia, it's not a secret, and from next year we're starting the construction of our flagship factory. Nearby, it's in Deferdange, it's on the border, on the French border, it's something like 30 kilometers from here. This is a huge project. I'm talking about 300 million euro of investments in several stages, and it makes Luxembourg absolutely non-discussable leader in the area of graphene-based technologies, and the general transformation of materials. If we're talking about so sensitive and important trends like silicon anodes, like multicrystalline cathodes, all these most important trends in the lithium-ion battery industry, for example, and Luxembourg will be the middle. On the top of that, don't forget that Europe, like a continent, it's absolutely necessary for Europe to somehow to manage the lack of competences in some kind of emerging technologies, like e-vehicles, like battery making, and we can see all this global shift today that a lot of Asian manufacturers, they are coming to Europe. Europe is trying to establish their own industry, and I'm happy to hear that a lot of people here in Europe, they understood that this is so important, that Europe cannot be slow anymore. It's necessary to reinforce these efforts. And for us, it's also very important because it's the middle of Europe, and a lot of our customers already are around us or will be around us in the next 3-5 years.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that answer. And now I'm going to come back a little bit towards everyday people like you and me. So how does this product, how do graphene nanotubes make a difference for us ordinary customers in our everyday lives?
No, for example, a really cool application of what I'm proud about. One of our customers, one of our partners from Germany and Poland, there are two of them, they made the lightest in the world gas cylinders. And already UK firefighters, they're using these gas cylinders in their daily work, and it saves lives, real lives. Or, for example, I'm quite sure that your smartphone, there are some nanotubes at least in your smartphone too. And it means that you can charge it faster. You can use it longer. And this is very practical, very understandable application for our daily life for normal people. Or another story where I'm really proud about, this year, one of our partners here in Europe, they launched the new generation of the electrodes for body monitoring, for newborns, for kids. And this is absolutely new, cool things what are making our lives and lives of our kids much better. And this is really a very interesting story when you are able to do something for people for their daily life.
Wow, I love that, to do something for people for their daily lives. And now I actually want to go ahead and shift onto our final question. So can you kind of share some examples about how graphene nanotubes are enabling advancements in electric vehicles and renewable energy technologies? Some of you may remember that for the opening, we had Dr. James Peng, who told us some great visions about AVs and autonomous vehicles. So now we're actually going to go on to the energy aspect of vehicles. So can you tell us more about that?
It's always about energy density. Energy density, you need more energy for more functionals, for longer life cycle, to use this device after one charge longer, and so on. It doesn't matter what we are talking about. We are talking about e-vehicles or we are talking about robots. Because robots, I never heard about diesel robots. We definitely need only electrical robots. And it's again the same challenges. Energy density of the battery, the weight of the device, and so on. And today, as I told you before, we are already inside the battery blocks of more than 1 million of electric cars in the world. I'm quite sure that the product by OCSiAl, it's a matter of 3-4 years, will be in 100% of all electrical vehicles on the planet.
Amazing.
This
Wow.
is what helps us on a daily basis.
Amazing. So we can see how a material like graphene nanotubes is powering tomorrow's breakthroughs. Thank you all. Thank you, Konstantin. And can we all give a huge round to Mr. Notman for joining us today in our special fireside chat. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and views with us.